Not a lot of information, but I wanted to give you a heads up. As most of you might know now, the military has been put on a 72-hour alert. Something's up. I don't know if it's North Korea or something domestic, but something's going on, and I thought I'd better let you know. Now, the 72-hour alert could be that they're just being told to be ready on notification, to be ready within 72 hours of the notification. It's either that or it's actually a 72-hour alert right now. I'm not sure which, but something is going on that's very important. We know North Korea has, with the help of the CIA and Obama and Hillary and the deep state, that North Korea, which is a proxy front, lack of a better term, for the deep state and the CIA, that they have been able to successfully miniaturize nuclear weapons at this point and place them on intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now, we've known for a long time that they possibly had some help putting up a type of weapon that would help them to do an EMP attack on the United States from a satellite platform. But all of that, the details aren't important right there. What's important to know is that this thing has now reached a critical point. Okay, so as I've said all along for a long time, prep, pray, stay out of the way. Try to take care of the things that will help you to get through a critical time.
Let us pray. What it is. It's the end of the world. Really, maybe. That's what they're saying. It's been saying it for a while, though. Thanks for joining me at an off hour. Look who showed up. Doshi, my producer, telepathically handling me. Handling? He's my handler, is all I'm saying. CIA. Hey, man. Just think for me, okay? Give me the right brain signals. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. Thank you again for joining me at an odd time. I'm going to give you a little news report right now. That was Roy Potter QA. The title, not clickbait. Believe it or not. Trump to declare martial law. I'll show you the story. I'm a real reporter. I've been looking up on it. The video I opened with, though, is Roy Potter, who I've been watching, talking about Q, 28 years, former military experience, not unlike some other YouTubers who report on similar things. Tracy Beans, Jordan Sather, and not a YouTuber, Benjamin Fulford. We'll show you what he said in his newsletter today. Military 72-hour alert, this gentleman says. Some people are asking if this gentleman can be trusted now. He seems very trustable. I'm not getting into him being, I'm not saying he's a shill or anything or works for the CIA. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying 72-hour alert. Wow, where's that information coming from? I will say in his comments, there is somebody who asks, Roy, can you point to any independent sources on this? And the first reply to that is, there is no proof. My son is in the corp. He thought I was nuts when I showed him this video. But again, not unlike what you might find elsewhere about Donald Trump's war on the deep state, which Q of 4chan fame assures us is happening right now. I'll show you the article just so you know I wasn't bullshitting you with the title. This is from today, Weekly Geopolitical News and Analysis from Benjamin Fulford's subscription newsletter. U.S. military to declare martial law as DOJ FBI criminality exposed. The U.S. military government, known to the world as the administration of President Donald Trump, is about to declare martial law, Pentagon sources say. Quote, the cabal has been checkmated as Trump is ready to federalize the National Guard in case of riots or civil unrest, unquote, Pentagon sources say. Adding that, quote, FEMA camps will be used to house mass arrests and Gitmo may house high-value targets while military tribunals will dispatch them swiftly, unquote. Benjamin Fulford will tell you that such radical action is necessary. Quote, because of corrupt judges appointed by Barack Obama and a Congress stacked with shills for Israel. That's funny. So Trump may be forced to declare martial law to impose military justice, unquote. I wasn't even going to cover this in the news today, but just because they say that Trump is taking out the Zionists and Benjamin Fulford wants you to think that he's going after shills for Israel. I actually pay for this newsletter, by the way. I was going to read you a little bit more from it about the secret space program. Donald Trump is about to declare Jerusalem, aka Zion, the undivided capital of Israel, lest you think that Donald Trump is not a Zionist. I wasn't going to cover that today, like I said. Also, from Benjamin Fulford's report, there was also visible evidence last week, at the very least, a low Earth orbit space war going on, as what Pentagon sources describe as rogue satellites were deorbited. We hear talk of a space war from other characters, one of them being Jordan Sather. We don't know whether it's true or not. We know a lot of people make claims, though. We do know a lot of people make claims, telling us to be afraid something's about to happen, not afraid because Donald Trump has it all under control. I already talked about Benjamin Fulford earlier, but just to let you know his history, you think about it, maybe martial law is coming. He also reported that Marines stormed CIA headquarters, just like April Lejeune did, an account which has been debunked, basically. There's absolutely no evidence that happened. That was 2 weeks ago. The Khazarian cabal purge was accelerating. He doubled down on that Marine raid on CIA headquarters in his newsletter last week as well. Last October, Benjamin had an article about mass arrests and extrajudicial killings going on as part of the cabal takedown. I've already covered Benjamin Fulford, but just be careful where you get your information from, especially if it's YouTube, especially if it's somewhere like this. I should say, while it's early and people are tuned in, you can support this kind of information right there, patreon.com/lifttheveil or paypal.me/lifttheveil. Information is the most valuable thing we have in this planet. So reward those who bring you the information that you appreciate. Not saying it's me. It might be Benjamin Fulford. It might be Roy Potter. And they might be right. I'm going to tell you what I think of the news. So I covered what's in the title, right? I don't believe it. I've also said that I don't mostly believe what Q said. Q of 4chan fame. I get some heat for doing that, actually. My last video I said why Q is dangerous, got a bunch of hate. There's a bunch of hate out there for people who want to question whether what we're being told about Trump saving the world is actually true. Trump being in full control of all of his faculties and playing 5D chess with a bunch of, a god among idiots. That's Donald Trump for you from the point of view of some people. Not mine. Not mine. So I'll tell you about what happened with the Michael Flynn thing. I want to give you an update on that because when I talked about it the first time the news broke, ABC had fake news that Michael Flynn was looking to collaborate with the FBI to talk about Russian collusion, basically. That fake news was withdrawn. So what is really up with the Michael Flynn indictment and his guilty plea? What's really up with it? One of the things Q said is that Mueller is to be trusted. He's running a straight investigation. And although it doesn't seem like it, it's a head fake. It's going to look like they're going after Donald Trump, but really the true target of all of it is the deep state. I'm afraid we're being gaslighted as far as that goes, in the sense that what that means is being told something is true that is the opposite of what you can see with your own two eyes. Michael Flynn, enemy of the deep state, or at least a threat to the deep state. One of Donald Trump's most crafty advisors. And he was targeted very, very early in the administration based on NSA intercepted communications between him and foreign governments. So what happened was the NSA, who Q will tell you is on our side, who Donald Trump is fully in control of, who's conducting mass surveillance, which we should support because it's going to clean out the deep state. Just like Benjamin Fulford says, martial law is required. It's what we need. It's what we need to clean up the deep state. The NSA intercepted communications between Michael Flynn and some other people. Later, they called him in to talk about it. And they checked their transcript versus what he said. And we find out now that they determined that he was lying. The news, the way it was reported and the way it is not still being reported, I can't say. The way it was reported was that he got a light plea bargain, that they could have gotten him for other much more serious crimes, because he's going to sing and he's going to talk about the real shit, being the collusion with the Russians during the campaign. It was celebrated what happened to him. And I'll play that now, and then I'll tell you a little bit more. This is the way the news was accepted by liberals, you could say. Joy Behar in
Michael
particular.
Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team
Fake
and
news.
is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yeah!
Yes.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and it's beginning to look a lot like collusion.
This was like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car reaction from the audience, by the way.
He goes to jail, he goes to jail, he goes to jail. Lock him up! Lock him up!
All right. That was the reaction. And I can tell you that probably most Americans remember the news the way it first came out. And they really think something happened, that Flynn got indicted and he pled guilty to something really serious. He was indicted for lying about something which isn't a crime. And that's it. He talked to some Russians, in one case on behalf of Israel, about stuff as a team member of the elected president of the United States. Something that I'm sure is done every single time there's a transition from one president to another president. In fact, they would be not doing their job if they weren't talking to foreign leaders. But they decided to indict Flynn, and in the indictment, they pointed out that he was talking to Russians. So this is why I question whether Mueller is running a straight investigation and whether it's not really completely a witch hunt against Donald Trump and his campaign. Like I said, Mike Flynn, he had a bunch of info on real deep state stuff. He really knew what was going on. And he was a target because of that, of the deep state. And they took him down. They're ruining his life. So now the new news all has to do with a tweet from Donald Trump, which was written by his attorney. His tweet said that he knew that Flynn had lied to the FBI. He was fired, if you remember. Flynn was fired for lying to Mike Pence about the same thing. For some reason, we don't know why, Flynn decided to lie about his communications with Russians not during the campaign, but after Donald Trump was elected president, before he took office. For some reason, he decided to not be entirely truthful about his communications with Russians, even though most likely it was completely lawful. People bring up the Logan Act, which prohibits the wrong person, like a private citizen, from negotiating with a foreign power, which could undermine the democratically elected U.S. government. We don't even know if that law is constitutional. It's never been applied to anyone. No, it's never gone to court. What Michael Flynn did was just a normal course of business. And then he lied again about something which isn't illegal. It's nothing. But to me, it shows that the investigation is indeed a witch hunt against Donald Trump, rather than saying that Mueller's running a straight investigation and this there are people who will tell you that this Flynn thing is all part of the plan, and that Michael Flynn is going to reveal information on deep state insiders, and we're going to see that Donald Trump is in control. 72 hours. Prepare for the end. I'm trying to give you what the real news is, at least the way I see it. So that was the reaction again from the liberal media. I had something else. Vice News, which is I believe a Zionist news outlet, by the way. Vice News HBO had a prepackaged special the same day as the Flynn indictment. And it's interesting the way they pitch it. So I'm going to play you that. This is, again, the media wants to make you think that this Flynn thing is a big deal. The guy didn't do anything. And then now, the latest charge, I should tell you that. The latest charge is that because Donald Trump subsequently, after apparently knowing he lied to the FBI, which is questionable, asked Jim Comey to take it easy on Mike Flynn. Asked him to take it easy on him because he's a good guy. Well, that's because all he did was lie about something that wasn't illegal. And now they're trying to say that Donald Trump should get indicted on obstruction of justice just because of a tweet his lawyer shouldn't have sent out. There's nothing there either. Try to convince somebody like my dad who watches Rachel Maddow. Trump's going to go. There's nothing there. I don't like Donald Trump at all, but there's nothing there. I mean, I don't think that it should be okay that in this country we just go after the president because we don't like him. And that's why Joy Behar was so excited. People don't like Donald Trump. Okay. So they want to overthrow the government, basically, and cheer about it. I don't think that's right. I'll show you how Vice News painted it. You'll be interested. Trump has a lot to be worried about now that Flynn is talking. That's the title of this piece.
Of all the things former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn could have gone down for, lying on the security clearance forms, taking money from a foreign government in secret, participating in a crazy scheme to kidnap a Turkish citizen living in the US, the thing the feds actually nailed him for today seems pretty mundane, telling a few lies to the FBI. That can only mean one thing, and several sources confirm it.
One thing which several sources confirm, that Flynn is singing to Mueller. I don't think that's what it means, guys. I dispute that. But this is the way it's pitched.
And he has something really good to sing about. But what exactly could that be? We already knew from multiple sources that in December 2016, after President Obama announced sanctions,
totally normal so far. It's like big news. Trump, senior official. I was worried about Kushner for a second. Kushner ordered him to contact Russia. Oh, okay. He contacted all the other countries on the UN Security Council too to vote in support of Israel.
National security reporter Eli Lake wrote today that
Can we get him on collusion with Israel? Can we get any of our politicians on collusion with Israel, please? Who knows how much influence they had in our election? Man, this country's fucked up. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. I'm going to give you one more piece of news, and then I'll leave you to your cocktails. This from CNN. Okay, this guy Strzok, I think they call him, or Strzok, Strzok, who's the guy that was dismissed for sending anti-Trump text messages to his mistress, also in the FBI. He was dismissed from the Mueller probe. He also, it turns out, we find out today, he also is the person responsible for changing Jim Comey's statement about Clinton from, he changed it to extremely careless. He changed it from grossly negligent was the original language. So that's kind of famously known now that Comey had drafted a statement clearing Hillary Clinton before ever interviewing Hillary Clinton. Okay, that we already know. The statement that cleared Hillary Clinton of any criminal wrongdoing was this statement which said that she was extremely careless in her handling of emails. It turns out those words, extremely careless, were written in by this anti-Trump, pro-Clinton FBI, executive, employee, whatever he is, agent. And that exonerated her, because if it had actually said grossly negligent in the law, if there are criminal penalties for gross negligence. And so what he did, this guy Strzok, who, by the way, George Webb says is Andrew McCabe. I don't know about that George Webb character. This guy Strzok ended up clearing Hillary Clinton of charges. And it turns out also he doesn't like Donald Trump. So was it politically motivated is the question. We are throwing shade now on the Mueller probe. Is the Mueller probe fair? I don't think so. I don't know if this news will catch on, though. Well, anyway, that's what I wanted to go over today. Doshi said he was happy to be here. I was happy to be here. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll try to be back with my live show tomorrow at 1:11 p.m. Pacific time, where I take calls. I will be on a show at 3 p.m. on The Last American Vagabond with Titus Frost also, and the Vagabond himself, talking about, I think, shills on YouTube, for one thing, which we don't like to talk about too much, but we'll talk about once in a while. So catch that. I'll try to see you live at my regular time. If you're a big fan of the show, please visit my website, lifttheveil411.com, and consider getting yourself some Lift the Veil gear to show off how much you like the show. Lifttheveil411.com. You can get t-shirts, mugs, stickers. I have one of those mugs right now. With more gear coming not every day, but periodically, including Doshi stickers. Okay? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's what it is.